Hi Philip, it's Tuesday. It's Teaching Stuff Tuesday. I wonder what holiday you could have been celebrating yesterday that would allow you to not post a video. Beer Day to celebrate the end of Prohibition in Iceland? You're more of a hard liquor kind of guy. Bosnian Independence Day? You never really liked the Czech Republic. National Pig Day? That's probably it. I know you're a big fan of the swine. So remember how I was sick on Friday? Well, I got sicker. Sicker? More sick? It got so bad that I couldn't even get up on Saturday. So I've been playing a lot of this. And I decided that for Teaching Stuff Tuesday, I would like to teach you about role-playing games. A role-playing game is a game in which a player assumes the identity of one or a set of characters in a party. Role-playing games are fairly different from other games. They emphasize social interaction and collaborative storytelling, whereas board games, card games, and sports emphasize competition. Role-playing games typically forego a linear plot. The viewer of a television show or movie is a passive observer. The players in a role-playing game make changes that affect the entire story. Sort of like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Role-playing games typically incorporate multiple classes of characters, and generally follow the same archetypal rules. The typical classes include a soldier character, sometimes called a knight or fighter. This player relies heavily on combat and does not have a strong focus on magical abilities. The thief or rogue character relies heavily on charisma or stealth. And the wizard or mage character relies heavily on magic while being very weak physically. The success or failure of an action in most role-playing games relies heavily on the random generation of numbers, typically the rolling of one die or multiple dice. There are three main types of role-playing games: pen and paper, live-action role-playing or LARPing, and electronic role-playing. Electronic role-playing games are split into two different subcategories: single-player and multiplayer. Pen and paper role-playing games are the most well-known, with Dungeons & Dragons, released in 1974, at the forefront. Pen and paper games usually incorporate a game master, or dungeon master. This person is the chief storyteller in charge of advancing the plot, arbitrating character action, and determining the outcome of battles. Live-action role-playing, or LARPing, plays more like improvisational theater. Players will often wear costumes and use props such as airsoft guns or foam swords. You may be familiar with this form of role-playing game referenced in the movie Role Models. This type of game does not incorporate a dungeon master and relies heavily on the good faith of the players involved. The winner of combat actions is typically decided by a game of rock, paper, scissors, or by comparing character attributes. And finally, electronic role-playing games. Video games. A single-player electronic role-playing game, such as Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, changes the structure of most role-playing games. It provides the visual interpretation typically associated with pen and paper games, and forgoes collaborative storytelling for a more straightforward plot. A multiplayer electronic role-playing game, typically referred to as an MMORPG, or massively multiplayer online role-playing game, such as World of Warcraft, is basically a very large online virtual LARP. Players interact with one another and perform optional quests, as opposed to a single player advancing a linear plot. So to sum up, I'm a huge nerd. I'll see you tomorrow. It provides the visual interpretation typically